Howdy folks, Jake here at Walkie Farm, and the flies are out of control. It is absolutely insane at the moment. It's not pleasant. I forgot my hat. I've been wearing a hat with a fly screen hanging off the brim, but I don't always remember it when I head out. So massive day packing up after this event. What did I have? 20 trestle tables, 100 chairs, 6 marquees, 6 pallets, sound system, projector system. My wife ran a motherhood event yesterday, which was great. 70 women here, but the pack up, it's like a hangover after a party, right? It feels pointless. You're tired, you don't want to be doing it, but we knuckled in and just smashed out a heap of it this morning, and we're just about done. Otto's setting up this fence for me. Good job, boy. Not my finest work in terms of being straight, but we're just here smashing it out. Have I taught you how to do this, bud? Let's show everyone online how we go, rightio? So run that through and be careful, not other way. I think I've put that one in backwards, I'm sorry. I think we'll go like that. Yep. Now, wind it up so it's got a bit of tension. Other way, oh, gentle, yep, right, you get tangled. Okay, now lock the gear in.
This one?
Just push that down. Good boy. Now, step back a bit so you don't get zapped. We just want to grab a bit of the slack. And we just want to wrap it around that. I normally wrap it 3 times, not because it needs 3 wraps for connectivity, but I find if I pull the reel to the fence I'm hooking it off and then wind it up tight, I find I can normally pull 3 loops there and then get a nice tension on your hot wire, because if this wire here is real sloppy, the cows can sort of brush up on it and it doesn't zap them. Now be careful when you hook that on. Here, I'll do it for you. When we hook that on, Otto, that's all electric now, all this metal here, yeah? So you can't touch any of that, but you can touch the plastic because it doesn't conduct electricity. So you just want to touch them. And you got to be careful, because if part of that metal touches that star picket and I'm leaning on the star picket, that'll shock me too. But we're fine here now, yeah? Good boy.
Just that.
That's hot. That's right. This is the part of the farm that I told you the plant density's probably the worst on. And I'm skipping through the paddock really quick. Daily moves, bigger paddocks. We're just trimming the tops. We're really not looking at taking too much litter out of here. We've got some nice plants. We've got some wild oats. Well, that's a sow note actually. We've got some ryegrass here. Then we've got some barley. We've got some clover, some sub clover down there. We've got some brome. What did I see before? There is some fog grass and different things. Oh, look at that feather. Beautiful one, mate. Then we've got some of this summer grass coming up, or spring grass, sorry. All sorts of cool stuff. Here's some. There's some fog grass, yep. That one there. It's got like a bit of a pink hue on it. Not many weeds, like considering, air quotes weeds, considering how bare some of the pasture is underneath. What's that? That's like a wild amaranth. Another feather. Good boy. Put a feather in your cap, mate.
That's 4 now. 2 little ones and...
It's interesting because we're very thin here. The ground cover is very marginal, as you can see. Like, not ground cover that I'm striving towards, but there's no sort of broadleaf pioneering species. We don't have any Patterson's curse or Cape weed or any of that sort of stuff in here. So we're just going to keep them skipping. All this stuff's going to stop growing now because it's all hit the seed stage, and now that we're going to graze it, it's really not going to bounce back very much. You can see a few stalks here have been grazed. See that one there?
This is the one that I've been looking for.
Vetch, that's gone to seed. That's part of the cover crop. But you can see that's been grazed. And that could be 2 things. That could be wildlife, a koala or something, or it could be one of these calves sneaking out. Look at this calf with all milk dribbling out of his mouth. Oh, she's lovely. She's lovely. So this stuff's not going to really bounce back now. But this grass underneath here, this is going to keep growing in summer. So if we keep getting some follow-up moisture, the cows are just going to come in and trim that off. But she'll keep going. So we're excited about having that grass pop up. this brome there is, they enjoy. It's very stalky, but it's a good protein feed and the cows get into it really nicely. Princess here is looking lovely. Hey, Princess, look at those fat rolls behind her shoulder, hey? You look lovely. She looks really high in the rump there, but she's not. It's just because she's standing with her ass facing up the hill. Could you come roll this up for me, mate? Thanks for everyone who watched the last video. We got a bit of discussion going, and I like I said, I appreciate the views. The views are great, but I really appreciate the comments and interacting with people and answering questions. And audio, buddy, can you? Oh, you know what's funny? That wasn't even hot. Who put that up? Seb put it up yesterday. Didn't even make it hot. Shows you how good the cattle are trained. We can roll that all the way up, mate, because we're going to pack that fence up, yeah? Here they come. Look at the shine on these animals. Just glorious. Come on, Nandi. 11-year-old Nguni. Fat as mud, looking lovely. Princess is her calf from a couple years ago. That's her calf from last year in Combe. Kai the bull's up there. This little calf's name's Kangu. Probably she's purebred, probably the fluffiest in the mob. Like most of them are really slick-hided. She was born in winter though, so it's a hard start. This little area here is quite bared off, you know, and what we're finding is that they're not bearing off. They're not grazing real hard and creating all this bare ground where it's the thinnest. They're actually doing this where it's the thickest, because that's the feed that they're excited about the most and they're going the hardest on. You know, over here we're leaving quite a lot of litter behind. Now what we're doing in this paddock, because our water comes down, so we've got a well over this hill that pumps up to a header tank above the house on the top of this hill, and then I've got probably 1.25 kilometre pipe drifting sort of all over the farm. So the trough here is gravity fed from that header tank, but the pipe we connect into is on my poor boy fence on the other side of that pond there, and I don't have water all the way up here yet. So what we're doing, this paddock we're probably going to be into for 4 or 5 days as we skip up, and we're just locking them into a cell, letting them graze for the day. Then we're dropping the back fence. So what Otto's just done here is dropping the back fence, and they can still walk back over this to get to that water. Now the grass that they've grazed here, that will still recover a bit and keep growing through the, you know, the warmer, drier months ahead, isn't really going to be impacted by that next bite until it starts recovering, which is generally about day 3 after it's been grazed. That's when, if we come in, we'll start to see little bits of shoots coming out of the stalks there, little fresh soft green bits, or maybe new leaves coming out the end, or it's even when you'll see these leaf blades starting to repair, they'll grow their tip back. That doesn't start happening visually until sort of day 3 or 4, and the animals, you do risk in that continuous grazing cycle, they will come back and bite again because they can smell that new blade. But you know, when they leave this paddock altogether and they're walking back to here for water, this paddock's probably going to be at day 4 or 5, depending on how we go. And then obviously the most recent paddock that they'd been dropped back fence on will only be grazed a day old. So we're really not too worried about the impact we're going to have of dropping back fences and the cows coming back over the same paddock, because we're sort of adhering to that timeline of recovery. So the cows are up there. Otto, let's pull out these pickets, mate. So that was a Gallagher turbo braid reel. I get a lot of questions about the gear. I've used different reels. There's new Speedrite reels out that look pretty cool. They've got new handles too, that on the end you can be either hot or dead. Like there's a conductive part, or you can use a different end on it. It's got like 2 hooks on the end. One conducts electricity and one doesn't. So that looks like a pretty nifty little piece. But at the moment, we're just using these Gallagher step-ins. I quite like them because I can run them for cattle, sheep, or pigs. So my cow lines go through the top. If I have issues with my calves doing anything, I can run it here. With pigs, I run 2. So a bottom and a top. But depending on the size of the pigs, I can adjust it. So when that's all the way in the ground, it's pretty hard there next to the fence where the tractor didn't roll over it. It's not all the way in, but the bottom line will be for weaners. And then if they're, you know, a bunch of small pigs, we would probably have that bottom one and then 1, 2 above it, you see. So I'd be counting 1, 2, 3. So the bottom one and then 2 above it. If you've just got gilts and bores, you know, your bottom one would probably be 1 higher, and then this one would be 1 higher as well. And I've had some real spicy pigs over the years that didn't respect the electric fence much at all. What I did in that circumstance was I ran 3 wires, and the bottom one was hot, the top one was hot, and the middle one was an earth. And what that means is instead of the earth current having to go through their body, through the soil back to your earth point, when they stick their head through it, it earths immediately with both the wires that they're touching, and that gives them a real live crack. You know, we don't want to punish our animals by getting electrocuted all the time, but I think the best way you can punish your animals by doing that is having a weak fence or a unreliable fence, and they learn to test it all the time. If you've got a really hot charge and it cracks properly, they'll do it once or twice and they won't touch it again for a long time, because it really will, you know, impact them. So Otto's going to collect those step-ins for me. Beautiful calm day here at the farm. Oh, sorry, mate. Good on you. I wanted to show you Mickey's calves because I thought that would be cool. So Otto will drop these posts over the fence. Something else, when you're pulling down fences and leaving gear in the paddock, you want to put it out of the reach of cattle. Cattle will lick anything that's foreign that you leave in a paddock, whether it's an old vehicle, a tool, tree that fell over, like it doesn't matter what it is. The cattle will lick it and they'll damage it. Especially, you know, they can't do too much to these in terms of damaging them, but your reels, they'll pull the wire out of it, they'll chew it up and ruin all the filaments and destroy it. So if you're leaving gear in the paddock, we're going to leave that there for tomorrow. There's no rain on the way. Put it on the side of the fence that they can't get to. So I just thought it was so cool talking about the different colours of the Nguni. We had a farm tour this morning with some people that stayed after my wife's event, and they're like, so what breed are all these? I said, these are Nguni. Like, well, all of them. Obviously that's their reaction, because we're accustomed to, especially people that aren't involved in farming or livestock, you know, Angus are black, Charolais are white, Hereford are, what colour are Hereford?
Red and white?
Yeah, close enough, brown and white. And they see all these different colours and they think I've got a heap of different breeds. Oh, well, they're all the same, and it all just, what does the book say? 80 different colours and patterns. I think there's like half a dozen or more different horn shapes. An amazing abundance of genetic diversity, which is just so exciting. And so I like it when I've got a bit of a family tree in the paddock and I can point out that's grandma, that's mum, and that's daughter, and really show people the different colours that came out of the same bloodline. So if we go up here, this little calf's still going. She's a fighter. Hey Talani, you're beautiful. Hey. Look at your udder, just gorgeous. So Mickey here, she's the herd bottom, which means she's the softest. When I bought her, she came with a couple wild Nguni. I ended up selling them off to someone. I was going to sell them to a meatworks, and I put the word out. I'm like, guys, I've got a couple wild Nguni, like big horns, big frames. They were big framed Nguni, and they were not pleasant animals. I just put it out there in case anybody wanted them. And one gentleman called me and I said, look, you need to know, these cows are wild. They are not nicely handled. And he bought them, and he's done a good job calming them down. And Mickey came with them. She's polled, the others were horned. And she was just getting beat up in the yards. They were beating the snot out of her. And I left those other wild ones at a lease block, and I brought her home because I felt bad for her. And I went into the yards, and after all that excitement of getting corralled on horseback and yarded and then carted 6 hours home and then beat up in the yards and then loaded and brought up to this block, I really thought she would be crazy in the yards. But I just went in there. I just wanted to sort of see how she'd react. She let me give her a scratch in the heads, folk. I really think that she was stressed and just wanted a bit of compassion, and I hopped in there and I really handled her and gave her a good scratch and a cuddle, and she was really kind. But that that manifests into getting bullied in the paddock. The other cows don't treat her that nice, so she's always on the edge of the mob. You'll very, very rarely see her in the middle of the mob. And when they're grazing, she's often on her knees over at the wire here, sticking her head under because they're not letting her compete here. But she's the only one that's sort of willing to lean right under that hot wire. But she was here a few months, and she had her first little calf, which was a heifer calf, just on the crest of this ridge actually, about a year ago now. And that was this little black heifer. So how's that? Mum is white with some black dots, and she had a solid black little heifer. There's a little bit of a white splash under her brisket there. But that's her first calf. And then about 6 weeks ago, she had another calf. And where is she, Otto? She's over there behind, oh, there she is, that little white one there with the red ears. Look at that. That beautiful little calf with that red ears, another heifer. Just a gorgeous little calf. You know, both of those out of the same mother. So everyone's moving quite quickly here, so it's hard to zoom in and keep track.
All the cows that I can see right now all have white under them.
And Nandi, that's a good observation on her. Nandi here, 11-year-old cow. Look at the udder on her. Just an impeccable, tight, neat udder. No bottle teats, no big blown out quarters. She's got 3 calves in this mob.
There's one.
So this Princess is hers. Similar paint job, just added a bit of white. Princess is lovely. She calved at 16 months old, just an absolute freak of nature. Or maybe product of nature. And then Nandi's next calf was that heifer there in Combe.
And then that little bull calf.
That one there. So that sort of dark red auburn sort of colour. And then this bull calf this year. There she is there. What a cow. She's got a huge gut on her. Short legs and just a massive tank. She looks quite hippie. The Nguni almost have like that sort of pronounced hip, almost like a bit like a Jersey cow. Not quite as accented, obviously. Hey everyone, some of these calves are massive. Some of them are growing really quick.
That one's pretty slow, that brown one.
When I'm out here, guys, and I'm with these Nguni in this landscape here, look at it, isn't it lovely? I just want to start singing some Lion King soundtracks. A Wimboe, in the jungle. What are you going to do with those feathers, mate?
Probably see what they smell like when I burn them.
Oh no. Unbelievable. Righty guys, thanks for watching. Got any comments or questions, drop them down below and I'll get back to you.